Okay, back in session. No decisions were made, no actions were taken. And so thank you, Danny, for coming.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Do we have a application?
Michelle, you're up.
How are you guys?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Just have a lot of stuff for you today. So our neighborhood revitalization program that we have, our plan that we have, it's good for 3 years. And every 3 years we have to decide if we want to re-up it or make changes or whatever. And so ours will be, the time for it to be redone is January 1, 2026. You might think, why are you coming to me now? We have 7 school districts, 3 cities to contact to see if they want to participate, and every school district meets on the same night at the same time. So this is something I think Dan will take care of this time. But would like you to think about if there's anything you want to change in the plan. If you want to keep the plan, there is a couple things I would like some changes. The one big thing is if we're going to do a housing incentive district, our plan we have now says, so you apply, if you're going to do something new, you apply in our office before you start the project. And then you have up to 2 years to complete the project. And then you get a rebate on your taxes for 5 years. But if you sell that property, you have a transfer ownership at that time, you get kicked out of the program. So if we're going to do a housing incentive district, it doesn't make sense to have our NRP program non-transferable, because then the builders will not be able to that's a good incentive to sell a property, someone else builds it, you buy it, and you get that incentive for 5 years. So something to think about. We do have a copy of those plans in our office. There's probably some other stuff that could be looked at, but that's the one big thing that I think we need to really consider changing if we're gonna do any kind of incentives for housing.
So who, can we change that?
Yep, it's our plan. We can make it whatever we want.
Okay.
Yeah. So we basically, we write the plan and then we go ask the other taxing entities who wants to participate. So we ask Bogue, Hill City, Moreland, and the school districts. Those are usually school districts, cities and counties are the ones that participate in that. Right now, it's a 5-year rebate. It's the first year you get 90% back of the city, county, and Norton and Hill City are the only school districts that are participating this time. So if you live in those areas, you get 90% of the new improved value taxes back the first year. Then it's 70, 50, 30, 10. You can change that too. You can change it to basically whatever you want. We have to see who all wants to participate. Then it goes to the state for approval. And then it's.
In my opinion, this has potential to be the biggest economic drive of the county. I mean, this is a big deal. You don't have to pay taxes the first year, and you can make it 10 years.
Yeah, a lot of counties.
That's what it used to be.
I was gonna say, a lot of them used to be 10 years, and then with ag values the way they are, a lot of them backed off to 5 years just because that's unpredictable factor that, we never know what's gonna really happen. A lot of counties do the same percentage for all 5 years. They'll do like 90% for 5 years, or whatever percentage you wanna do. We have a filing fee of $100, but we're not taking any admin fees on the back. So a lot of counties will have maybe a smaller filing fee, but then they're keeping like 3% of the rebate on the backside. So $100 is really cheap compared to what a lot of counties are doing. It is, we only have one new person that went into the program this year just because it's new. We have, I'd say, about 6 projects that people have applied that are still working on. So they're 1 year or 2 years isn't up yet. So those will be in the program. We have several people that would have applied, but because maybe the parents owned the land and the children put the house on there and they weren't going to have the deed filed in time, they didn't qualify because of that non-transfer part.
Yeah, I think we need to change that non-transfer.
So,
I
yeah.
have to read it
Yeah.
before we do. Yeah, we will.
Yeah, but we have the copies of those plans in our office, if you wanna see it. We might wanna tweak the application, you know, anything to make it simpler for people is what I like to
It's
do.
an unbelievable benefit. If
Yeah.
somebody wants to start something, unbelievable.
Yeah,
So, yeah, well,
and right now we have a $20,000 threshold. You have to spend at least 20,000, your value has to be at least 20,000. You can change that to, 5,000, or you can make it higher. You can do that, whatever you want with that
and
too.
this applies to updates also. Somebody was.
Yeah, somebody's wanting to remodel or, yeah.
Yeah,
Any kind of upgrade you're gonna do, your property, you're gonna spend more than $20,000, and our value is gonna go up more than 20,000. That's what the plan says right now. So, but you can change that 20,000 to whatever you want also.
you can update your bathroom, Dave.
Because some people have it at 5,000, so if they put a new storage building on or something, that even will qualify, where right now that really isn't. So that's something I want you guys to think about, here pretty quick, because with all
Sure.
the school districts, I did the 3 years ago, went to all those, and I had some just flat out tell me no, because we were getting to the crunch time. And some of them, we only have like one, like, I think Sheridan School District, Hoxie School District, we have like one section. And Stockton, we only have a couple sections, so they weren't that really interested, but now that we have a plan up and going, they might be interested in
So school
participating.
districts can use it also, this same,
So what it does is, so they have to agree to participate. So if, in Norton and Hill City School District, so what that means is that portion of the rebate, they give back. So they don't get to keep that part of the taxes, but it's
They
new,
waive their taxes.
it's new value that wasn't there before, so.
Exactly, that's the point that needs to be made. This is not on the tax roll anyway.
Right,
So we're just encouraging people to get the back end later on. So the
Yeah.
tax rolls will go up with all these improvements, it'll just be after they get their
Yeah.
incentive.
and they'll still get, so like the school districts will still get 10%, 90% will go back to the property owner that first year.
I see.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end, all that goes on the tax roll, so it
Right.
benefits us also.
After
But it
5
doesn't
years,
cost-
after 5 years, it's all back.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the 6th year, it's 100% on the taxes roll. And so the way it works is once your project's done and that next year, say your project is done right now, so January 1, 2026, you will go on at 100% of value. You'll still pay your taxes like you do any other property, and once you pay those in full, then you get your rebate. So you're still gonna know what your new taxes are every year, but you're gonna get a rebate check for 5 years. So, yeah.
Which if utilized as is great, I mean, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I've
It
used it
should really
before.
incentivize
Yeah, it's
people
really
to
good.
build.
And if you can still pay your taxes in half or set up a payment plan or whatever. So you pay half in December and half in May, then you get your rebate check like 30 days after that. So it all depends on how you want to pay your taxes. You don't have to pay in full in December. So yeah, it's a great program. So on the next subject, so we got our new oil guide for this year. The top oil price last year was $65. This year it's $62. So an oil price is based on gravity. So each gravity has a different price. They all went down about $3. So oil being a depleting asset anyway, and then with the price going down, unless we've had a ton of drilling this last year, which I think we will in the future, but I don't think we had a lot last year.
Sure.
We'll probably see our oil value go down this year. Real estate values, we're printing those off right as we speak. We are going to be mailing those on February 28th this year because March 1 falls on a Saturday. So we'll mail all real estate values in the entire county. We have 5,103 parcels or something like that. We'll get all of those mailed. People, once they get their value, they have 30 days to look at that. If they feel like that's not set at market value, or if they have any questions on how it works or whatever, they have a 30-day time frame to do that. So schedule what's called an informal hearing. And so we encourage people to come in at this time because there's no money tied to it. So if we find out that we had something wrong or something, we need to change, it's really easy to fix it, in April versus, once it's a tax bill, then we have to do an abatement. So, and just to give you a preliminary on what values are going to do, ag values are taking a pretty big jump or they're going down this year.
So that means real estate has to go up.
Yeah, so it means mill levy's gonna go up.
It's getting.
Yeah. So everything is broken out in classification. So this form will show you 2024 values and then 2025, broken out by classification. The U is utilities, which are state assessed. We don't value state assessed properties. They give those to Kendra at the end of the year. So that's why those all have zeros in those. If you look at the appraised value on ag land last year, it was at $70,021,000. And this year it's at 66 million. The only ag that will have increases were if someone changed something from, say, pasture to dry land or dry land irrigation, or we didn't get water reports last year. So if someone had a big changes in how much water they're using, they might see an increase on that irrigation value, but otherwise ag values are going down significantly. Overall county value, if you look at the total, just overall total taxable value is $200,119,000. And the assessed value, so the taxable value includes exempt properties, which obviously don't pay taxes. So the assessed value is what is taxable value. So it's going from 36.5 million to 35.8 million. So our assessed value is going down. So that means if everything else, every budget remained the same, your mill levy's going up.
Still going up.
Yeah, because it's just a matter of a calculation. So on exemptions, Board of Tax Appeals makes the decision on exemptions on almost all properties with a few exceptions. They are 2 years behind on giving us those decisions. So I literally have about a 4-inch stack of exemption applications that have not been processed because I'm waiting on those exemptions. Almost all of them are oil. What I've been doing, because I pretty much know if those are going to be exempt or not, because it's based on how many barrels per day per well they produce. So if I know, like if I get an application today for 2025, I'm going ahead and putting the word pending in there, and it's calculating as if it's exempt so that we're not giving away major dollars. So once we get all of those in. So, but we do have a lot of them sitting out there, all types of property. There's some real estate, personal property, and oil. Just to make you aware of that. I'm sure once they start processing, we'll get them all back at once. So if you see any old abatements, that's probably what it's going to be on. And on our values, I do want to give a shout out to the city of Moreland. They vacated all of their streets and alleys that were not being used as streets and alleys. So now all of those, so what happens is if it was platted as a street and it's not being used at that, now it's like that street goes away and the ownership for these two go back to the middle of the property. So they're probably going to gain some value because most of it's ag land, so it's not a lot of value, but they've really cleaned up their property. So now that if somebody is using something that was platted as a street now it's going to be valued and taxed appropriately. So, and that eliminated almost 100 parcels.
Wow.
So, yeah, so that's a good job on their part. We do have, there are a lot of bills out there. So senators and House representatives are meeting every day. A lot of bills affecting counties. They do have all their meetings are on YouTube now, and if you go to kslegislature.gov, there's a link you can click on that says like House and Senate videos. They all pop up, and whichever committee you're wanting to watch, or if you're wanting to watch the full Senate and House, you can. There's quite a few personal property bills that are out there right now. I think the Senate already passed it, and the House just talked about it in committee yesterday. I don't think they voted on it, so I don't know where that's going to go. They added airplanes to it, which most airplanes are exempt. So I don't know how that's going to affect the bill, if that's going to make it die or if it'll keep it, but that's a big deal for us. So yeah, that's all I have. So when value notices go out, people start calling you. I always recommend you just tell them to call us. Don't try to answer their questions because you don't really know necessarily what is market value and what's not. And that way, a lot of people, if someone, the first person tells them something when someone else tells them something different, then they get really confused about what is which is accurate. So, pass the buck to us. We want you to do that so we can, you know, get all the questions answered and get people scheduled if they want to come in and talk to us, or, you know, if they have a building removed or at CRP come out of the program or something, just have them call us. Okay? Have any questions?
My only thing is that to dumb it down on our part, is the assessed values are gonna go down again. So that basically means that if the budget stays the same, people's taxes are gonna go up for the most part.
Yeah. So what drives the mill levy is budgets. You know, I know people think I set the taxes, but it's really how much money we
It's how
spend.
much money to spend in the budget and
Yeah, so the mill levy is just a formula driven, just to figure out how to satisfy all the budgets. So I could cut all the values in half in the whole county and it'll double the mill levy.
yes,
So-
mill levy's kind of a
Yeah.
fork and mirrors thing.
And, you know, we had a legislative reception, recently. I talked to quite a few senators down there and, you know, they're very concerned about how high the mill levies are in the counties. And, you know, I was like, well, what do you guys suggest, you know, and some of them, you know, they have great ideas, but trying to get them implemented is another thing. But a lot of them are saying, you know, we got to get these small, like, counties and cities to start consolidating services, anything that they can.
Absolutely. That's what's gonna have that.
Yeah, or they want to start consolidating counties, which I don't know how that would work, because then where would your courthouse be?
Be a mess.
So
As the values go down,
yeah, getting your
What's up?
cities and counties to work together more. I mean, there's some county like Greeley and Wyandotte, they don't have city county government, they have unified government. So they have one board of county commission, not called county commissioners, but one board of 5 that govern all the like cities and counties. And then they've consolidated services together to, you know, save money and stuff. So, I mean, it's, you know, it's thinking
See,
outside.
that's just trying not to cut people's, not cut them, but not hiring more, or
yeah, that's the thing, is that you gotta look at that bottom line, the total value
Yeah.
down, going down each year, and then we have to.
So how do we increase the value? Do we bring businesses in? Do we build more houses? How do we increase, instead of always looking at how to cut, how do we
Yeah.
get better?
the same thing we've
Yeah.
been trying to do for 10 years, is get more houses, more
And
business.
that's what that incentive's so great for.
Yeah, get more houses, get more businesses, you know,
Economic.
not
development.
necessarily, you know, not necessarily cutting budget, but just getting the waste out, you know. If,
Exactly.
if we're doing something, you know, if you have 2 people doing the same thing and they're not necessary,
Exactly,
then like,
yes.
I mean, I have an office where I just eliminated a full-time position because I have, great people doing the, you know, that are more efficient than what I had before. So I don't need to just hire someone, just have an extra body in there. And, you know, like for us, if we can eliminate this personal property, you know, eliminate this personal property, there's some counties that are gonna be able to eliminate a whole person, you know, that just does personal property, or some counties have more than one person do that. But, you know, so as legislation changes, we need to be able to change, not just go with status quo.
That's
all
the
the
biggest
time.
thing, being adaptable and
Yeah.
just looking at everything, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be looking for money. That's our job, so.
Yeah.
That's my point.
You know, and I think there are, you know, as small as counties we are, I think, you know, maybe have a joint meeting with your cities and, you know, you guys, and
Absolutely,
see
yes.
if there's some services that you guys could
You
work
unify.
together on. And I'm not someone that says fire people, but if someone doesn't, you know, if someone quits and and you could have done the job with a less person, and maybe just.
And I think there is places to do that.
There is,
Yeah.
and that's what we have to look at.
And you can look at other counties too. I mean, every county, I think they send it to the county clerk every year. Not every county will answer the questions, but I think every year they send out a survey asking like how many employees are in each office, you know, and what their budgets are and all that kind of stuff. Appraisers, we kind of do that on our own. We look at that we just do like a study every year. Like I said, not everybody participates, but, you know, and sometimes there's some counties that are, just found a county, they're hiring someone remotely to do some of their work, and they're hired them on a part-time basis, so they eliminate the full-time benefit package. Someone that, you know, doesn't come into the office.
Right.
So, you know, those are things that, you know, I'm real black and white about things, so those are hard for me to think about or outside the box, but, you know, it's all stuff we need to think about, I guess.
Absolutely. We got a lot of tough decisions coming up, especially, every year. It seems like.
Yeah, every year it gets tougher, yeah.
Less money coming in each year.
Well, and when you have ag values go down $4 million,
Yes.
in essence, it shifts the tax burden, to the
real
other
estate,
classification, so people don't like to hear that
And
word
that's the
shift.
point I try to make. If it goes down somewhere, it's gonna have to be made up somewhere else.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I just can't get that through to.
In the personal property, I'm for this bill passing because I feel like at this point, it's not a fair tax. When they use the example in the hearing yesterday, you can have 3 trailers. You can have 3 people going to buy a trailer. A farmer that's gonna use it for hay is gonna be exempt. The guy using it with a lawnmower business is gonna be exempt. And the guy that wants it to haul his couch to the dump, he's gonna be taxed. So is that really fair anymore? And then, like UTVs and ATVs and golf carts, unless we discover it or people are honest, it's not a fair tax anymore, And like now we don't have a city that will work with us to, they're not tagging them anymore, so I don't have that list. But, and that's a lot of value that the city's missing out on, that they don't realize that those people that don't pay the tax on that, it gets shifted to all the other properties. Because they didn't cut their budgets by however much money that was collected on those items,
Yeah.
so, it's a shift.
But it used to be all business property was taxed too.
Oh, yeah.
Like beds in my hotel have been taxed before, and that's all
Yeah.
taken off the tax roll now, because it's.
Yeah, only stuff purchased after 2006, so anything before 2006 is still taxable. Which is another thing we talked to senators about, we feel like that's not fair either. So if you have really old equipment, you're still paying taxes, but if you have brand new,
Yes.
you're
Or
not.
it changes ownership.
So, yeah, it changes ownership of a non-related party, yeah, so,
So that gets taken off the tax roll. It was long, so that's less for the.
yeah, so that was a big deal when we lost all that commercial
Yes.
machinery, yeah. So, yeah.
That makes a big difference.
And if you guys have any, legislative, I do watch the legislative hearings every single day. I keep up with what they're doing. So if there's something you see and you want to know how it affects us, if I can help you answer
What
those
about
questions.
the limit on 3% raise a year, did that go through, or what's?
I don't know if that's gonna go. They want to let the value go to market value like it should, but they want to cap how high the increase is. Which, I don't like the increases either.
Sure.
So, it sounds great, but they have all these conditions that if the property transfers, it gets rid of that cap or has any new construction. So you could have neighborhoods like, in big cities where you have every house that's basically the same. This guy never moves, so he's capped at 3% every year. And this guy just buys the house, so he's paying double the tax of his identical house of his neighbor. So, and it would take a whole complete overhaul of our software.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're talking millions of dollars. So who's gonna,
So that's probably not gonna
who's gonna pay for that?
Yes,
The
that-
state?
No, to be
So,
honest.
right now it's, our servers are in Topeka for our software that we use. That is every county uses the same software on real estate. So implementing it is, just like last year, they passed some personal property changes that went to effect July 1. Our software wasn't ready to handle the changes. And it still doesn't handle one of the change, so I don't know how that's gonna work. It doesn't so on the failure to file penalties now is 12.5% instead of 50. Well, it doesn't 0.5.
Okay.
So hopefully we don't have any of those, so we don't have to worry about it. On personal property note, I did come and talk to you guys about this before, but you only have to sign your sheet now if you had changes. So if you don't have any changes, you don't have to sign your sheet anymore. But a lot of people still come in and we're just going ahead, and a lot of them thought they didn't have any changes and they did. So, but if someone comes in and they want to still sign their sheet, we're make sure they sign it, make sure the address is correct and stuff. So, but yeah, they don't have to sign it anymore. So,
Hard to break old habits.
yeah, yep. Well, and it's nice. Most people when they go in to get their farm tags this time of year, they just stop in. So, it's a good habit to have, I guess. So yeah. Anything for me?
Well, thank you, Rochelle.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll
Sure.
sit down, take a look at that.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, if you want the NRP plan, I should have brought down the plan, but I didn't think about it.
See ya.
Yeah.
Okay, Wayne?
I don't have much. You guys got anything?
Ready for the snow?
We're chaining up and fixing tires. Got the loader in there. We only got one loader this time because the other one's got the cylinders off of it getting rebuilt. So hopefully we don't get something huge.
You guys are set up to come help here a little bit too?
Yeah, we can help.
Good.
I don't know if we're set up for it, but we can.
Bring in the big stuff.
Bring your snow shovel, Wayne.
It's been working out pretty good because, like Taylor was able to come down because we weren't pushing it in the country. But if it gets to the point where we're just swamped in the country, it might be a little bit tough coming
Sure.
down and helping.
Well, it gets bad when we'll be open tomorrow anyways.
Sometimes I think Steve comes down and helps. He's a mechanic. If he's not working on anything, he comes down and helps. So it's supposed to get really cold. I hope it's just fluffy. Just blow right through.
That's right, so
So
light.
No wind.
I think there's gonna be wind.
There we go. Let's just make it rain then.
It never fails. You always gotta have wind with the snow. I mean, we have been lucky a time or two, but most of the time we gotta have wind with it. So,
That's true.
but that's about all I got.
Well, I don't have anything, if you can, I guess, get ready, Wayne. Get ready.
I think everybody, my old grader that I run, it's a chained up kit, but everybody else pretty much chained up. So
They gonna plug them in so they all start for sure?
they start if it doesn't get real cold.
Supposed to be 15 below for actual temperatures.
And
Is it really supposed to get that cold?
I've seen 6 so far. I haven't seen 15. But if it does, we don't have places to plug them all in. So we just gotta try to get
They're
them.
more welcome to plug them in my house if they want. The ones over there.
I'll tell Ben, because his John Deere has a plug-in on it. Some of them don't even have block heaters. So,
Yeah, 14 below. 14 for high and 14 below for extra temperature.
we had that last year. We had a lot of them at the start. So,
I'll make a spot and sit on the screw with it.
you got a cord?
Yep.
Okay,
Got it all.
so we can pull in there with 15 graders.
Make that meter roll.
Probably melt this cord.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, if you're done, I'll go.
All right, see you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yep.
All right, Kendra, what else do we have?
I think the only other thing was the, discussion on the road and bridge, but I think we provided information,
Okay,
see if we can come up with
So
something
that's-
anyway.
in Mike's hands now?
Okay,
Perfect.
okay. Very good, thank you, sir.
Okay, any other business?
I don't have any-
Okay, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Hey, third.
Yeah, I did, I guess.